Hello and welcome to Computer Tech and More. Do you have any shoes that are broken but otherwise in reasonable condition? So the heel is falling off or splitting along a seam somewhere? What do you do with those shoes if you really want to keep them? Well, you can buy shoe glue. And I bought 3 different types, and I'm going to talk about each type and kind of my thoughts about how to use each one and kind of the pluses and minuses because I've used all of them. So let's get into it. So the first one here is called Boot Fix. This is a super glue type glue. So it's specially formulated to adhere to the rubbers and the foams that are used in modern tennis shoes, but it's basically super glue. So this one you don't need any clamp, or it doesn't say, it says you don't need any clamps. I should specify that. But when applying it, so you would unscrew the top. Oh, I'm a little off camera. Unscrew the top, and then you would squeeze it out, and you would get some drops. You want to make sure that this is tightly sealed for storage, otherwise it will dry out. Mine is still liquid in there. It's a couple years old now. And you don't need to clamp. I got a little off topic there. You would squeeze it in, and then you would hold it in place for about 10 seconds. And then that should be all you need with this one. But because this is a super glue, it's not really designed to flex. So for the bottom of your shoe, it's probably fine. But somewhere like on the sides where you're going to get a lot of bending, not so well. The front where it doesn't bend very much, yes. So just know what kind of application you're going to use this for. I wouldn't use it for anywhere that's going to bend a lot. So the middle of your shoe, probably no. The back of your shoe, it's probably fine. And that's this one. The next two are very similar. This one actually, according to the instructions, recommends you freeze it in order to help preserve it. So mine is frozen. This turns out to be wrong. I'm going to be pretty embarrassed, but I seem to remember that, and it's frozen anyway, so there's not much I can do about it right now. And I just defrost it every single time I'm going to use it. And both these are very similar in that they come out in like this, can you see that? Like goo kind of stuff. And this creates a flexible type attachment. And this works really well, but it also requires a bit more clamping. Both these two, actually. This one also advertises itself shoe repair and protective coating. So if your shoe has a little bit of a hole in it, like somewhere in there, mind, it will look different. I'm just trying to think of the right words. So because you're filling in a hole with this kind of rubbery, turns into like this rubbery silicone material. So it will be noticeable because it'll have a shine to it, but you'll no longer have a shoe or a hole in that part of the shoe, and it'll be kind of waterproof in that area and transparent. And this one is just for attaching the sole of the shoe back on, or any of the like this plastic bits, I don't know what to call it, where it folds over and attaches the bottom of the shoe to the top of the shoe to create a stronger joint, basically. That's what this one is for. It's not really to seal up any holes. So I primarily used this one, and it works really well, but both these two require clamping. So you might be saying to yourself, well, how do you clamp a shoe? Well, the simplest and easiest way is I used rope. So if the sole was coming off the top, you would peel it back. So again, I'm going to use right there. You'd peel it back, you'd fill that area with glue, and then you'd press down on it, and then I would have, I'm off camera again, a rope, and I'd wrap it around the shoe a whole bunch of times to hold this down as tight as possible so that it would, essentially the shoe would act like it normally does. In demonstration purposes, I have just a really old pair of shoes because that's what you're going to be using it on most likely, that you find very comfortable. I personally am not going to be repairing these shoes because they're falling apart on the inside, but I want to talk about this shoe repair glue. And here's the branding for the other one. I ended up keeping this one. So they all have very similar instructions. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. Clean and dry the surface. Yes. Bond the soles. That's this. Repair bands. Rebuild hole, roughen the surface, tape sole shoe to the bottom, apply to the area, cure overnight. Replace cap and store in the freezer. That's for this one. The other one did not say anything about that. And so, you know, creates a flexible waterproof seal, abrasion resistant. So that's for this one. And this one has a lot of the same kind of quality properties. You want to be very careful to not get it on your hands. And when you do, wash them immediately. Flammable, vapor, harmful. You know, so when you're done with it, don't put it into an enclosed space with yourself. You know, let's be smart. Stay healthy. So this is a bit more of a pain to work with because you have to freeze it, which means if you need to repair your shoe, you have to wait till it's defrosted itself. So my two go-to shoe repair goo glues are this one and this one, because super glue sometimes is just the easiest, best choice. This is, again, different than regular super glue. And then when you need the flexible joint, this is pretty much the best that I've used. Let me see if I can pull out a pair of shoes. All right, here are the product pages for each of the glues to repair your shoes. So this is the Boot Fix. It says flexible bond, but I personally really haven't found it to be that flexible. And it costs about $14.50. And tells you how to work it and everything like that. So then we have the Shoe Goo. It costs about $9, so I'm going to round. And it has its advertising. Filling it in, putting it in. Prices are subject to change. Regular price is apparently about $10. And last but not least is the Aqua Seal. It costs about $12. And notice they are wearing gloves. Keep it off your hands. You put it in there and you smush it together, and the tighter you can squeeze it together, the, I guess, more naturally the shoe is going to feel when you're all done. Anyways, these are the different products on the Amazon website. Here we go. I found a pair of shoes that I had fixed. So it's not perfect because obviously you can see that it's peeling off, and a lot of the reason for that is my kids' shoes are a little on the cheap side. And by the way, you shouldn't spend too much on kids' shoes. They wear through them. So it's actually peeling off the material of the shoe, and so it's coming off. But this is the Shoe Goo one, and it's holding up pretty well overall. And again, it's just peeling off the shoe itself. But yeah. But we're entering winter and he has a different pair of shoes, so I'm not too worried about that. But it held up for a few months of kid usage. And it just was peeling the actual like plastic, like the shiny coating off the front of the shoe, which is why it ended up actually falling off again. But other than that, it actually worked really well. On adult shoes, it seems to work better because you can get in there a little bit easier than kids' shoes, and kids are also a little bit harder on shoes. But I guess there you have it. I've been very happy with the product. It certainly will extend the life of your shoes. And yeah, there you go. Which one to get? Well, if you're only going to buy one, I probably would get this. If you're going to get two, these two, because you have to freeze this one. Anyways, thank you very much for watching and have a great day.